Okay guys, continuing on. So these are the main cards that you want taunted. Why I say that these work like death rattles. And what happens is that when you knock these out, they will give an advantage to whatever tribe they belong to. So for this instance, Spawn on N'Zoth is genuinely a very, very good minion to use when you're first starting out the game. By the time you tier up to Tavern 2, which is pretty much on your second go, these will generally start coming out and are brilliant, especially if you've got very, very bad hands where you're not getting as many good cards. And these could come in really handy, and not only to fill space on your board, but can be very useful just to give you the advantage that you might not have over your opponents. And then for this instance, taunting of Goldrin is very important, as I have explained with regards to taunting. If you are taunted, that particular minion has to be attacked first. And this is the advantage of having all these minions taunted, is that they will have to be the first to go out, and they will give not only a chance to allow your other minions to attack while these being attacked first, but once they are buffed, they'll get an extra advantage as well. Now, there could be something for the demons team. However, because I don't use demons enough, I could have easily skipped over it, but I did check through everything and I couldn't see anything with regards to demons that you would want to have taunted. So I apologize to anyone that is a demon, mostly plays with Demon Tribe, and if I missed out on you guys, I do apologize. But I had a look and I'm having a look again now. There doesn't seem to be anything in particular that I am missing out on, or that I have skipped that you would want taunted from Demon Tribe. I think pretty much everything you would want to do is also just the ones I have listed here. And then you've even got a little sly one as well. This one is something that you wouldn't think of actually taunting, but it's the Kaboom Bot as well. And why the Kaboom Bot is so good is that because once it's completely knocked out, it deals 4 damage to a random enemy minion, and especially by round 2 or round 3, that can just damage and wreck a whole team. But you need to be able to stack those quickly in order for it to work. Mostly any minion that has a death rattle on it will work wonderfully. And I'm just going to have a look here, and we'll have a look at death rattles. And I can tell you this here. These are some of the death rattles that you have got in game. There are some death rattles, like I will show through, you don't want taunted. So even though this is a death rattle, you don't want this having a taunt on it, because you want it to release its other little rat minions once the board is pretty much empty, because that's when it will have the most impact. And yeah, there isn't anything else. See, this one here, you want taunted, that you want taunted, and yeah, there's nothing else here that I can see of that requires taunting. These are the main ones, and for anyone that doesn't know, this is what a taunt shield looks like, if I can click on it, and this is what it'll just go over one of your minions, whatever that means. So I could be going over Spawn on N'Zoth, that or that, and so forth, and those will always be attacked first. So yeah, there you go, and I will show you definitely the minions that work in synergy beautifully together in a team, and I will get onto that in just a second. So we're going to be continuing on with our discussion with regards to synergies with, like, for example, death rattles or battle cries. So these here, the Bran and Rivendare work in pretty much any team, as any tribe. As you can see, these do not have a label saying that they belong to a particular tribe, which means they work in any. Now, Baron Rivendare, as you can see, works specifically with death rattles, and Bran works specifically with battle cries. So there's a time and a place that you would use these cards, and you wouldn't just use them randomly in any tribe unless they have a synergy with your team and that they would work. For example, Khadgar is a budget version of Baron Rivendare. Very, very good, especially if you're running the mech and also the beast teams where you're getting lots of death rattles. Although it is very, very prone, because even tripled, it has very, very little health, and unless you're willing to taunt it, which you don't want to, there's no way to be able to buff these minions. So you just have to take a risk and just hope that your other figures will get knocked out. But this here it will pay off if it does stay on board. Now, Mal'Ganis, although it doesn't have a particular synergy, but it also works very well. And when I say synergy, it's not just like for all tribes. This one here works specifically just for demons only, but is a really, really amazing really amazing minion, and I highly recommend it if you are running, because this will just keep on increasing damage for its health and an attack for every demon that you have in your hands. Now, see, for example, I've got the Gentle Megathor to explain what Bran and Gentle Megathor do. So if you combine these two together, whatever Gentle Megathor is doing will be done twice, which is really OP. And even though it's a beast minion, I've never tried it in anything but a Murloc's team, because, well, it's specifically meant to adapt to the Murlocs. It wouldn't work. Like, you could have it there, but it wouldn't physically do anything for your peace team. It's only meant for Murlocs. And what it will do, the battle cry will be multiplied by 2. However, if you've got a Bran Bronze Beard, it will be multiplied by 3, which is just really outstanding and very amazing. I think the ones you can get plants, so that means once the Murloc is knocked out, it will start to spawn other minions, and it'll be like a plant minion 1 by 1. Again, that one is multiplied once the main minion itself is being tripled. You've got Wind Fury, which means that the Murloc has a likelihood of being able to attack first. It sounds useful, but it really isn't that great. Then you've also got Poisonous, I think it is, and that is really important. It just doesn't give it to one minion, it gives it to all of your Murlocs. And then you've got Attack +3. I think there's Health +3 as well, if I am not mistaken. And then there's Divine Shield. Now, Divine Shield and Poison are the 2 main ones you're looking for, although 3+ attack is quite nice as well. So that's just an example. And then, for example, like your Baron Rivendares would work in wonderful unison with like your Rat Packs, and also all your Death Rattle synergies and stuff. Like, I would highly recommend it for those teams. And then Kangor's Apprentice. although she is mostly used in mech teams, she can be used in other teams as well. So like a good example would be, I haven't really got this one up and running just yet, but I will show you. Sorry guys, hang on. It's a tier 6 minion, so that means you won't see it that often, if at all. And it is the gas coiler. Now even though it's a beast, I will be honest with you, is that it doesn't really ever produce any beast minions. Most of them tend to be actually mech, in my honest opinion. I could be wrong, but she and the Gas Coiler and Kangol's Apprentice can work very, very well. Coupled with Baron Rivendare, these three here alone could be, especially if they're being tripled, this Gas Coiler could fill up the whole board instantly, even if it was just these three left. And what it could spawn out is just amazing. So, but take that, of course, with a grain of salt, because I could be wrong. But for most cases, when I have used Gas Coiler, that it has mostly just spawned out mech, at least for me. So that is very good. And Bronzebeard, works very, very well in Murloc teams, especially if you're using Cold Light Seer. So I will, where is it? Cold Light Seer is this one. It's from tier 4, I believe, or is it tier 3? Yep, this one. So Cold Light Seer, for example, that will be doubled as well, which is extremely handy for your fellow Murlocs as well. Works very, very nicely with Bran. And then you've got, what else is there? This card here, Bran and Anelian Battlemaster. They go together like bread and butter. So what will happen is, unfortunately with this one, as you know, you pretty much, your hero has to be virtually on 10 or less health in order to take full advantage. If you're playing Patchwork, you will actually find that this will probably even benefit. But if you've got Bran Bronzebeard, and let's say you lost 20 health, so instead of just accruing 20 health, you will get 40. But the main thing is that what you want to do is make sure that this Anelian Battlemaster has some attack too, so it can actually fight back, because being 3 attack, it's very, very difficult, especially if the opposing minion is dealing like 30 plus damage. It'll just get instantly knocked out within 2 turns. But most of this card is meant for demons. However, it does work in any other tribe, but you won't get the benefits like Mal'Ganis will offer to Anelian Battlemaster. But it does synergize very, very nicely, and it does help, especially if you really are struggling and you're not getting the right hand. This card could come in as a savior and actually help out with the rest of your teams. I will also just explain to you guys as well some little odd cards that, you know, you might accidentally pass on by or not really think anything of them. So I will show this one to you in just a bit. So some of the ones that are a bit of an oddball, and you wouldn't really, like, especially if you're new and starting out, you wouldn't think anything of them. One would be is the crowd favorite. Now, not a lot of people play this card, and honestly, it's not as favorable as it was before the new meta. Used to work really well with the Amalgam card, because the Amalgam was getting so many buffs, so it used to really work nice. Also goes very well in Murlocs. Again, a really nice card that works hand in hand with Bran, but a lot of people don't see this card and will immediately take it, because again, it's a universal card. It works with all tribes, and doesn't have to work with a particular one. So this is one people can, you know, look on by or perhaps not even use properly, because it requires a little bit of skill in knowing. So there'll be like some lightning bolt or lightning energies that will come out from this minion, and you'll know that you're placing it correctly onto a mech or even a nightmare amalgam, but they've currently gone, just a regular amalgam that comes from the curator. And that will immediately go into that minion, and once it's knocked out, it will spawn the replicating menace, although they might not do much damage. However, if you get a tie and one of those minions has a replicating menace, that's still 3 attack damage that you're giving to the opposition. So that one is not to be looked by all means. And then another one that is, although not that often, but sometimes is is not often used, is the Noyo module. Again, it works much in the same way as the replicating menace. So what actually happens is that you need to place these 2, replicating menace and the Noyo module, to the left of your mechs, or in this case your amalgams, and that will just immediately just connect, and this will give it taunt and shield. So it won't be just shield. So again, be aware, do you really want to taunt it? But there is other ways you can shield. Like for example, a good hero is George the Fallen. If you spend 4 gold, you can give a minion of yours a guaranteed shield at the beginning of its turn. So I really hope that helps. I think that covers it with regards to synergies, minions, and how they work. I will get into a bit of discussion about board placement, so I will get onto that, guys, for you in a second, and I will be right back.